Ever found yourself standing in a queue at the mall, clutching a to-do list longer than Santa's, wondering, how did this get so out of hand? Well, you're not alone. Hi there! If this is your first time here, welcome to the Parenthood and Relationship Podcast. I'm your host, Markella Kaplani, a psychologist, a parenthood and relationship coach, and a parent myself. Together, we explore the transformative journey of parenthood and its profound impact on our relationship with ourselves, our partners, and our children, so that we can be present and show up as we envision without having to do more. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to the Parenthood and Relationship Podcast. Today we're talking about why the most wonderful time of the year can also be the most stressful. According to one survey, 62% of people report that their stress levels are somewhat or very elevated during the holidays. What is more, an American Psychological Association poll found that almost 9 in 10 adults feel overwhelmed by financial worries, missing loved ones, or the dread of family conflict. But the stress isn't inevitable. We are going to unpack the expectations that we carry into December, explore why reality rarely matches the Pinterest perfect message in our heads, and share practical ways to protect your mental health and your relationship through this festive season. By the end, you will have a toolkit to help you swap overwhelm for presence and joy. If you're new here, hello, I'm Markella Kaplani, and I am a clinical counseling psychologist as well as a parenthood and relationship coach. But most importantly, I am a fellow parent who is navigating this beautiful, messy chaos of family life. My mission is to help you feel seen through matrescence, putrescence, and all the other identity shifts that parenthood brings. Now, I've always loved the holidays, the lights, the music, the excuse to eat cookies for breakfast. But I, like so many of us, have spent years trying to make Christmas perfect and winding up feeling exhausted and resentful at times. As a psychologist, I have seen it countless of times where clients come into my office in January saying, "Oh, never again. Let's do better this year. Together." So what do we mean by holiday expectations versus reality? It is the gap between what we expect the holidays to look like and what they actually feel like. We are bombarded by picture-perfect families in matching pajamas, spotless homes trimmed with coordinated decor, kids quietly playing with wooden toys, and partners happily co-hosting a candlelit dinner. Reality? You're lucky if you find 2 clean socks that match, the kids are ripping open presents at 5 a.m., and you and your partner are whisper arguing about money while your mother-in-law comments on the turkey. These expectations come at a cost. The American Psychological Association poll found that 41% of US adults say their stress increases during the holiday season compared to the rest of the year. And 43% admit that this stress interferes with their ability to enjoy the holidays. Financial pressure is the biggest culprit, with 58% of people worrying about the fact that they have overspent or that they do not have enough money in order to get the gifts that they want. And this is followed by finding the right gifts and missing loved ones. When we enter the season with a checklist that no human family could ever meet, we set ourselves up for disappointment and for resentment. Let me tell you about a client of mine, let's call her Anna, who came to see me in February after what she called a holiday from hell. Anna had decided that this Christmas would be the one that her children remembered forever. She baked 3 kinds of cookies, organized matching pajamas, DIY'd an advent calendar, booked photos with Santa, planned a 7-course meal for her in-laws, and spent hours hunting down the perfect gifts, including something that her toddler saw in a YouTube ad at 3 a.m. and never mentioned again. She maxed out her credit card, slept only 4 hours a night, and by the time Christmas Eve rolled around, she was so frazzled that when her husband suggested they skip the extra dessert, she burst into tears. Despite all her effort, the kids fought over a cardboard box, and her father-in-law criticized the gravy. She ended up sobbing in the bathroom, wondering why she even bothered. The next week in my office, Anna whispered, "I feel like I ruined Christmas." If you're nodding along, maybe you have lived a version of this. Or maybe you've been on the other end of this. Kind of like Mike, also a made-up name, but this is the case of a real client, a dad that I worked with who hated this season because he felt like a wallet and a pack mule. He didn't understand why the stockings needed 15 little gifts each. He felt guilty for wishing the holidays away, but the relentless commercialism left him feeling resentful and disconnected from his partner. His wife, meanwhile, felt unsupported and unseen in her efforts. Two people, one holiday, and two very different experiences. And at the heart of both is this gap between expectation and reality. So why do the holidays do this to us? Part of it is neurological. Ellen Bratton, a psychologist at the Massachusetts General Hospital, notes that the holidays demand a unique kind of executive functioning. We are managing more tasks than usual. Gift lists, travel plans, cooking, remembering all the school events, and family dynamics. Our prefrontal cortex goes into overdrive to keep up, which can actually reduce memory, decision-making, and attention. No wonder that we feel scattered and short-tempered. Then there's the cultural pressure. Social media feeds us this diet of curated holiday images that make our messy living rooms feel inadequate. Advertising equates love with expensive gifts. The tradwife trend that we discussed back in episode, was it like 82? Gives us this ideal of the 1950s that never existed in the first place. We internalize these images and believe that a good parent or partner must deliver magical experiences. And then family dynamics add yet another layer. The American Psychological Association poll found that nearly 1 in 5 people celebrating non-Christian holidays feel excluded because the dominant culture of that country doesn't reflect their own traditions. And then let's not forget that many families anticipate conflict. 36% of adults say that the holidays feel like a competition. For some, trauma or grief makes the season bittersweet. There's this invisible narrative that we should be happy. So when we're not, we may even feel ashamed. On top of that, our own childhood scripts can drive perfectionism. Maybe your mother always hosted, and you feel like you must live up to her example. Maybe the holidays were chaotic, and you try to overcompensate by controlling every detail. Our nervous systems carry these imprints into adulthood. So it's one thing to see the problem, but it's another one to actually change it. Here are some evidence-based strategies to reduce holiday stress and bring your expectations into alignment with reality. For one, name your priorities. Sit down with your partner or co-parent and ask, what do we want our children to remember about the holidays? Is it the smell of cookies? The laughter around a board game? A quiet walk outside in the lights? Decide 3 things that are most important to you and let the other ones go. And because potentially your inner critic is chiming in right about now, let me just say that this is not about settling. It is about focusing your energy on what actually brings you joy. And here is where you can use the mental load worksheet that I've created that you will find at markellakaplani.com/resources so that you can list the tasks and decide who will take the lead on what. Secondly, it's good for you to communicate expectations early. Psychotherapist Amy Lopez notes that stress often comes down to mismatched expectations. So have a conversation, ideally in November, and this is coming in late, but have it now. It's the beginning of December, about gifts, travel, boundaries. Ask family members what they expect and share your limits. Are you exchanging presents with every cousin? How many gatherings are reasonable? These conversations may feel uncomfortable, but they save you from the resentment that you may feel later on. Thirdly, set a realistic budget and stick to it. So like we said before, 58% of adults say that one of the major holiday stressors is finances. Let's have some transparency about money. It is essential. Decide on a total amount that you're willing to spend. Divide it into categories: gifts, food, travel if you're going to travel, and track it. If budgets are tight, consider experiences over things or handmade gifts. Remember, children value time with you more than the latest toy. Then again, I would suggest that you schedule downtime and protect your routines. The holidays coincide with shorter days and disrupted schedules. It is very tempting to abandon exercise, sleep, meditation, but these are anchors that keep your nervous system regulated. Add downtime to your calendar. An evening at home after a busy weekend. A quiet morning for yourself. If you need to decline an invitation, do so graciously. Overcommitting helps no one. Fourthly, I suggest that you release perfectionism. A lot of times the pressure that we put on ourselves is on things that no one actually expects of us. Give yourself permission to be human. Maybe the cookies burn. Maybe the tree is a bit crooked. These imperfections often become the most beloved memories. Perfection is an illusion. I say it so that I can hear it too. Presence is where connection happens. Next, create micro rituals to stay connected. During busy seasons, micro moments matter. Try a 6-second hug with your partner each morning, a nightly rose and thorn share with your kids, or a gratitude jar on the table. These small rituals build intimacy and buffer against stress. Invite your partner to participate rather than expect them to read your mind. That is also key. Another thing that can help is to divide tasks fairly. Holiday mental load can replicate the year-round imbalance. Use the fair play method. List all the tasks, assign ownership from start to finish, like we talked about in a previous episode, conceptualization, planning, execution, all of it. And check in weekly to redistribute if needed. Fairness isn't about equal time, but it is about both partners feeling that the load is equitable. We discussed the fair play method in detail with my guest Valerie Ricoeur at the end of this month. So make sure you catch the last episode of December. And to make sure you don't miss it, you can sign up for my newsletter at markellakaplani.com/newsletter so that you can get the emails that I send out every week where I let you know which episode aired and I give you one insight, one exclusive tool that I don't discuss on the podcast, as well as one 3-minute reset that can help you put into practice what it is that we talk about. So why is this all important? Why does it even matter? Well, when we realign our expectations and take care of our mental health, we do more than just release stress. We transform our relationships. Imagine starting the new year feeling connected rather than exhausted. By lowering the bar from perfection to good enough, we free ourselves to experience genuine moments of joy. We also model resilience and authenticity for our children. They learn that the holidays aren't about perfection and specific routines, but about presence, love, and flexibility. And let's not forget that there's power in community too. 70% of stressed adults are comfortable talking about their stress, but only 41% actually do so. So let's change that statistic. When you share your struggles with a friend or a partner, a family member, you normalize them and you strengthen your connection. You might even discover that your loved ones also want to ditch the chaos and embrace something simpler, and they were just looking for permission to do so. If you're looking for permission, you got it from me right now, today. So, before we wrap up, let's recap. Holiday stress is widespread, but it's not inevitable. It thrives on unrealistic expectations, financial pressure, and mostly unspoken assumptions. When you name your priorities, communicate early, set budgets, protect your routines, release perfectionism, create micro rituals, and share the load, you reclaim the holiday for what it's meant to be. A time for connection and meaning. If this episode resonated with you, share it with your partner or a friend who might be feeling this holiday strain. For weekly reminders to stay grounded and connected, join my newsletter, The Sunday Reconnect. Like I said, every Sunday I send out one thoughtful insight, an exclusive tool, and one 3-minute reset. Perfect for keeping your nervous system calm amid the holiday hustle and everyday life. Sign up at markellakaplani.com/newsletter. You can also download the mental load and fair play system worksheet that I have at markellakaplani.com/resources. Over there, you'll find that and so many other tools that help you take the ideas that we discuss and put them into practice. Next Sunday, we're exploring how we can create inclusive family traditions, balancing your heritage with that of your partners and making space for everyone at the table. Until then, be gentle with yourself, breathe, and remember, connection matters more than perfection. Thank you for being here. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.